All right, people, welcome back to the most unlikely show ever. How a center-right conservative guy ends up becoming a huge supporter of Tulsi Gabbard for president and is politically realigning as we speak. And again, I don't know what I am. I don't have a definition of what's going on. All I can tell you is that I'm waking up to some new realities. This whole thing with Julian Assange today, very illustrative of what's happening, because if we don't get real information, we're all screwed. And then we just buy into a narrative. And then, you know, I know Andrew Yang is worried about the robots taking over, but they might already be here. They might be us. They might be us, and that's not a joke. The way people just sort of gravitate toward information, and the way the media, who's all bought and paid for by just a few companies who then dictate our foreign policy, this is a mad, crazy circle. And I'm here, and who knows, once this channel gets monetized, I'm going to see those little yellow circles with the little line going through it, which means not suitable for advertisers. So maybe I shouldn't hurry up and have this happen, because it's going to go sideways probably. It's a dangerous thing to tell the truth. I really admire people like Nico House today, who did just an amazing video, really calling out everybody who is supporting, I guess, progressive candidates. I would just call them truth candidates. That's what I would call them at this point. Not all of them are truth candidates. There's really only two. There's only two, well, three technically. There's Mike Gravel, who I hope gets in just because he would just so disturb people, and he would call truth into power. Like, it just incredible little sound bites there, and he'd get help from both Bernie and then Tulsi Gabbard, who is obviously, I think, the best candidate in decades, and I just can't emphasize that enough. An article, though, I want to read from Mint Press a little bit of, which really throws some serious cold water on this Democratic Party presidential nomination. I really think we need a third party. You know, if you wanted to invade the Green Party, you could invade the Green Party. At least they're registered in a lot of states, right? So you can run a candidate. To build a party from the ground up might be difficult. I don't know, but personally, if this doesn't work, if Tulsi or Bernie don't get in, and it's a corporatist, or if it's Trump again, then anyway. Here's the story. Here's the headline from the story. Democratic superdelegates may once again rob Bernie Sanders of the nomination. There is no denying that the need to defeat Trump at all costs will be the rallying cry used to push Democratic voters to fall in line behind the eventual nominee, regardless of whether the nominee was chosen by voters or by superdelegates. Oh no, the superdelegates are back. They never went away. They didn't change the system. The system is still rigged. That's what this is. The system is still rigged. Now, again, I voted for Trump, but I knew, I just, from what I skimmed during the last election, I think at one point I just looked at one of my friends who's, you know, political and was a Trump voter, and I said, man, Bernie got screwed. And he's like, yeah, he actually did. He's like, I don't support Bernie Sanders, but man, what they did to him, for her, you know, she was the coronated queen. So, according to recent polling data compiled by Real Clear Politics, the Democratic 2020 nomination, Bernie Sanders, is the clear frontrunner among the contenders who have already declared their candidacy. Keep in mind, Uncle Joe has not declared yet. Indeed, among declared candidates, Sanders has a double-digit lead, averaging over 21%, while the other most popular declared candidates, Kamala Harris, corporatist, Beto O'Rourke, even bigger corporatist, trail behind at 9.9% and 8.9% respectively. Though the recent party reforms aimed at Democratic Party insiders, often referred to as superdelegates, may have given the Sanders camp the impression that they will not be subject to the same dirty tactics that occurred in the 2016 election cycle. The past few months have revealed the strategy of corporate Democrats to keep the progressive frontrunner from winning the nomination, regardless of whether he wins the popular vote or not. Wow. On Monday, Eric Swalwell, who is the biggest Trump collusion guy in the history of Trump collusion, became the 18th person to seek the Democratic nomination for president. Swalwell's I don't know if it's I think it's Swalwell. His candidacy has resulted in the largest presidential field of any party in American history. Now, I've already watched some really good videos on this topic. Flood the zone. Flood the zone with all these candidates. This guy has got no chance of winning. Although the media might love him because he's still holding on. He's Mr. I still have proof of Russiagate. Go for it, Eric. What a great candidacy, right? What are you running for? I'm running for president. Why are you running? Because of Russiagate? Because collusion? Because Trump colluded? So what's your platform? I don't know. Beating Trump. This is just really bad stuff. With 18 candidates in the race, it seems increasingly likely that at least 2, if not more, candidates will be able to stay in the primary through the primaries convention, set to take place next July. This likely scenario has recently been mentioned by several recent reports, and they have a link for the reports. They go on just to talk about what happened last time around. They show a picture of all of these candidates. It's just incredible how many candidates are in this race. Now, for my money, there's only 2 viable candidates, and then there's one that needs to get their voice in there. And some people might throw Andrew Yang in there, Bernie and Tulsi. And then I'd love to see Mike Gravel on the debate stage. He might need a cane or a walker. I want him on the debate stage to talk about war. Because, again, all of these corporatists will be having a cow. All right, they go on in this paragraph. This is interesting. This likely explains why centrist corporate candidates in striking range of Sanders, namely Kamala Harris, so there's the narrative, Kamala Harris, made moves early on that alluded to the new or the now clear role that superdelegates. So she's basically saying, well, I know I can't win this outright, so we're just going to go the Hillary route. We're going the same way Hillary Clinton went. Indeed, as Mint Press noted in January, Harris was quick to hire David Hune, Hillary Clinton's director of delegate operations in 2016. Wow. All right. So, the Democrats just want to beat Trump so they can have their corporatist in. They don't care about what the people want. See, this is why I'm here. People want to know, how come you just jumped off the Trump train? Well, Trump is, I can't tell you how many things he's doing now that are aggravating the crap out of me. Julian Assange would be number 1 with a bullet today. I mean, here's the guy who praised Julian Assange during the campaign. WikiLeaks. I don't think he mentioned Julian by name, but he talked about WikiLeaks and how awesome it was, and Hillary was up the river without a paddle, and WikiLeaks, go WikiLeaks. Where, what? Now he's under arrest, and he's probably going to get tortured, and he might even get killed. Okay? So, I don't know. Here's that point. At least Trump's not a progressive. As some analysts have pointed out, there are elements in the mainstream media and the Democratic Party that prefer the prospect of a Trump re-election over the prospect of a Sanders presidency, with even liberal networks like MSNBC having made the case directly. Endless wars, rising national debt, military-based economy that can't be sustained, healthcare that sucks. We'll just keep going. We'll just keep going the way we're going. I mean, you had the last election cycle, you had Trump, you could have had Trump versus Bernie, you would have had the left populist against the fake right populist. I think if Bernie is the guy, and I want it to be Tulsi, but if Bernie is the guy, Bernie has to stick to his guns and not get sucked into this. Because if he gets sucked into this, he's going to be just like them, and it's not going to matter. And he's probably going to lose on top of it, because you've already got Trump in there, and Trump has a base that is, it's kind of zombified. I don't even know if that's a word, but like, ooh, they're just following. Okay, he goes into what, Libya? Now we're talking Libya. We're going from regime change to regime change to regime change, and all of the supporters are like, yes, build the wall. What? I get it. You want the wall. I want border security too. I could use a little less of the crazy rhetoric. All right? And even Bernie Sanders has said, yeah, we need some kind of border. So I'm fine. And by the way, Trump people, aren't you fine with border security, border protection? That's good, right? But are you really that wedded to that one idea that you can't see all the other crap going on? So they're basically saying in this article, it's amazing that there are a number of Democrats who are just, they'll be fine. They can beat on Trump for another 4 years, and then maybe they can try to impeach him. Or what, I mean, what is the good of any of that? And then you'll have Mike Pence as your president. Even more of a neocon than Trump, if that's possible, but he is. He is. And some of his religious views obviously rub a whole bunch of people the wrong way, even some in his own party. So that's not a good trade. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good trade. The extent to which superdelegates will be willing to outrage the party's progressive base will depend on two related factors. One, how badly they want to beat Trump, and how badly they want to avoid a President Bernie Sanders. And you wonder why I've come over here. Because there's nowhere else for me to go. Okay? I wanted somebody to take on the establishment. And here is the establishment already plotting against Bernie Sanders. Man, I hope Tulsi does well, because then they're going to have two strategies. I mean, and then here's my final thought on this. If this happens and happens quickly, there's got to be some sort of on-the-go, on-the-ground movement to get Bernie into the Green Party or something similar. There's got to, I mean, the Green Party, they've got to have their doors open, and just in case. Something's got to give. I don't know if that can happen. I don't know if, if he loses that, he can go over. I don't know if he signed a pledge. I know sometimes the Democrats, I think he might have. I know the Republicans had that pledge where Trump wasn't allowed to run as an independent. It's astonishing. Then you get Howard Schultz out there too. We forgot about him. He's got enough money to just run a campaign and just take votes away from probably, I would say, probably some of the Democrats would go over to Howard Schultz because, they think Starbucks and they think Democrat Party, I don't know. I don't have a clue here. This is really bad news, though. If you're a progressive, if you're an independent, and you see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that maybe something good might happen. Maybe we can cut down on the endless wars. Maybe we can get a few crumbs to fall off the table for people that really need it, because that's what this is. This is a giant... I mean, the Pentagon misplaced $21 trillion. What's our national debt? $22 trillion. There it is. So, hey, Tea Partiers, I know where you are. You're probably outside the Pentagon, right? Somewhere? Where'd you guys go? This is just crazy stuff, and it makes me really sad for our country. It really does, because we are up against a machine. And these two parties will keep any voice out. Now, they thought they were going to keep Trump out, and Trump got in, but then they co-opted Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is such a weak-minded person in the sense that he doesn't have the knowledge to kind of refute things that people are saying to him. He just nods and agrees, and yeah, okay, I'll trust you, you're good. And it's like the boss looking at the resume. Yeah, sure, John Bolton, yeah, sure, you're good, yeah. Really? Because this is the guy that orchestrated the Iraq War. Remember the one that you said you didn't want to do? I mean, the whole thing is a sham. I mean, I cannot believe what kind of sham this is. And people are just still holding on to the border wall. Okay? Again, I like border security, but that is not the only issue under the sun. In fact, the reason we have to do border security, aggressive border security, is because we've destabilized the entire continent to the south of us. And we're trying to do more of that. So we're basically having to protect ourselves from a problem that we created. And nobody in the media has the guts to call that out. Outrageous, people. And now the Democratic Party is, again, looking to block Bernie Sanders using the dreaded superdelegates. Wow. I can't believe it. I just can't believe they're going to try to do it again. Bernie's got to get a huge mandate. Tulsi's got to get up there too. You know, this channel is about Tulsi, but the reality that Bernie is in the lead, again, you know, I'll have to walk and chew gum at the same time. I think the best way to save America is to vote Tulsi, because Tulsi would beat Trump in a landslide. The problem is getting Tulsi over the finish line so she can have the head-to-head with Donald Trump. And Bernie Sanders, the same thing. I'm okay with Bernie. I like Tulsi way better, but this is, and all this writing, mint press here, they're basically confirming everybody's worst fears about what the establishment is going to do to Bernie Sanders. Because Biden, even if Biden declares, I don't know how maybe he wins the nomination, but they're looking at Kamala Harris or Beto O'Rourke. And that's just, I mean, what are they going to do? Seriously, what are they going to do to address these huge problems? Nothing. They're going to play the left game and just call out all these talking points about left stuff, that the wedge issues. They'll go right to the wedge issues, and then meanwhile, you know, you still got lousy health care. You still got wars all over the world that aren't ending. You still have an exploding national debt. You still have the deep state, military-industrial complex. You have all that just running the show. They'll run roughshod right over both of those people. I worry about Bernie. I don't know if he's got the will to do it. He's an old guy. I think I'd be retiring if I were him. That's why you let Tulsi do it. Tulsi's got the energy. She's got the chutzpah. She's got the Spitfire attitude, and that's why she should be our next president. But this does not look good, people. All right, I'm done with this long, rambling talk. I will be back eventually with more content. I will see you then.